The Yankees just scored 2 runs combined in their last 2 games and lost a series to the Athletics. Now, if you're watching this game casually, you might say it's just one series. But that's not the standard. Because what we just saw wasn't random. It was a pattern showing up again. So let's run it back. Game 1, we win 5-3. Schlittler had a rough outing, only going 5 innings, giving up 3 runs. But Bird, Hedrick, Cruz, and Bednar were scoreless from the 6th through the 9th inning. And you got your 2 clutch home runs from Ahmed Rosario. Game 2, we lose 3-2. And aside from the first inning, where we got 3 straight singles and then scored a second run on a walk, we had Severino up against the ropes. We failed to score again and end up losing 3-2. In Game 3, we get a solid outing from our starting pitcher. Ryan Weathers gives up 1 run in 8 innings, and the offense fails to score a run and only gets 1 hit. So they lose the series 2-1. But here's what matters. The last 2 games weren't just losses. They were low scoring, low margin, execution-based games, which means the series wasn't about talent. It was about functionality under pressure. So what held in this series? Starting pitching. Again, this is not the issue. They kept the games under control. I mean, Schlittler gave up the 3 runs. Warren only went 4.2 innings, but he only gave up 2 runs. And then Weathers, of course, 8 innings, 1 run. They kept the game under control. They gave this team a chance to win every game. And that's exactly what you need from your starting pitching. What else held? Well, early on in the series, it was game control. In Game 1, we played a solid, clean, and controlled game. And that version of the Yankees, that works. The rest of the series, not so much. So what didn't hold during the series? Well, it was the offensive execution. This is the story of the series. 2 runs in the last 18 innings. And more importantly, no adjustment. We had runners left on base. We had weak contact in key spots. And there was no pressure created by this offense. It's the same issues we've been talking about. The next thing that didn't hold is situational hitting. It isn't about the talent of the hitters. It's about moving runners over, having productive outs. And right now, that's just not happening consistently. You think back to the series with the Marlins, and they walked us 28, 29 times, something like that. They were giving us runs. How many of those runs did we go out and we take? Not that many. We weren't given all that many runs in this series. And aside from Game 1, we sure as heck didn't take any. And the third thing that is not holding is the margin for error. When your offense disappears, everything has to be perfect. And that is just not sustainable. And considering how good the starting pitching has been, I mean, how many games can you expect this bullpen to come in and throw scoreless innings one after the next? You'd like to see it, but it's not realistic. So, what was the turning point of the series? Turning point is simple. It was the late innings of game 2. It's a close game. It was 2-2 going into the ninth inning. There was an opportunity to take control of the series and for us to win the series. And what did the offense do? Nothing. That's the moment where good teams separate. It's not necessarily by hitting a 3-run homer like we got in the first game, but it's finding any way to score. And that didn't happen. And it carried into game 3, where we only got one hit. And now, there's been a lot of talk of, well, Aaron Boone should have pinch hit for people in the ninth inning of game 2. Because we had J.C. Escara, who has a 0 batting average. We had Ahmed Rosario with a 135 average. And we had Ryan McMahon, who has a .069 average. And they go down 1-2-3. I don't really understand why he would not pinch hit someone like Goldschmidt in that situation. But also, I can't really blame Boone either, because look at our other options. You have Randall Grichuk. He has a 0.000 average through 5 at-bats, granted. You've got Austin Wells with a 167 average. I mean, the bench outside of Ahmed Rosario and to an extent Goldschmidt, who we haven't seen all that much of, they're just not hitting. So, the options are few and far between. I personally probably would have hit Goldschmidt at least for Ryan McMahon. That is not the guy I want making the last out. That is not the guy I want coming up in a 1-run game with 2 outs in the ninth inning. But the options really aren't great. This is on the offense. The hitters need to hit, and they're just not. So, as far as the player performances, what is the positive from this series? Again, it's got to be the starting rotation. Ryan Weathers was the best pitcher that we had in this series. 8 innings, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. He did his job. And at this point, it's becoming clear. The starting pitchers are going to do their job. This team is going to go as far as the offense allows them to, because the pitching is giving you everything you need. The concern right now, all those guys I just named at the bottom of the lineup. It's Jazz Chisholm hitting 186, McMahon hitting 069, Grichuk hitting 0, Wells hitting 167, Caballero hitting 135, J.C. Escara hitting 0 through 9 at-bats, and even Trent Grisham, who's hitting 162. That's the biggest issue right now. When the game tightens and the scoring is difficult, where is the adjustment? Where is the control? And that's where playoff games are decided. Right now, That large part of our lineup is inconsistent at best, if not consistently awful. So now we got to talk about this lineup conversation, the construction of this lineup. And this is starting to become a big discussion. It's not just who's hitting well, but does this lineup make sense? Are the roles defined right now? No. I I still don't think we have a leadoff hitter. You can't have your leadoff hitter batting 162. That doesn't make sense. They are there to get on base and make things happen. If he's not getting on base, it doesn't make sense. Then you ask, is there balance in this lineup? Well, hitters 2 through 5 were the only ones doing any damage so far early in the season. And when they went cold, when they didn't hit in this series, because they ended up going 6 for 41, which is a 146 average in this series. So they didn't hit. Where are the other people to step up? Again, in game 1, that was Ahmed Rosario. He came through clutch twice with 2 home runs. Everybody else? Crickets. Are they too dependent on power? In this series, they were. Because outside of those 2 home runs and those 4 RBIs that won them game 1, there were no home runs in game 2. There were no home runs in game 3. We only scored 2 runs total, and we lost both. So these questions, defining roles, balance in the lineup, and dependency on power, these questions are getting louder. So if we zoom out a little bit, what does this tell us about the structure of this team? We'll look at what's aligned. Right now, as has been the case from day 1, the starting pitching is strong. Also, our ability to keep games close is strong as well. Because even in these losses, they've been 1-run games. Which just goes to show we just need that little bit extra from this offense. I don't know if these pitching performances will continue. I sure hope they do. We'll hope that, the injury bug stays away and these guys continue to perform. But this offense needs to get it together. What is not aligned? Of course, it's the offensive identity. It's still unclear, it's still reactive, and it's still too dependent on something happening rather than creating something. Our risk anticipation is the key. These issues are not new, and yet they keep showing up. That means they are not being addressed structurally. And again, you can say, well, our options aren't very good right now. That could be the case. It's baseball. You got to give guys time. But we've considered a month is a good sample to fully judge someone on. And we're getting there. We're about halfway there. So we'll see in another couple weeks. Is this just a struggling cold streak for more than half the lineup? Maybe it's because of the weather. It's been cold in New York. We're heading down to Tampa for the next series starting today. Maybe that warm weather will help out a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. But come May, if these struggles continue, then we might have to look elsewhere. Look in the minors. Is Dominguez hitting? Spencer Jones? George Lombard Jr.? I know he's still a ways away. But we'll have to do something to address this if it continues. And then there's the decision-making consistency. It's the lineup construction. It's the in-game approach. Still feels like it's being figured out in real time instead of being defined. You've got the bullpen. Different guys coming in at different times. Who do we trust most? Seems like Hedrick is coming out as one of the most trusted bullpen arms. In the 12 games that we've played, he's pitched in 8 of them. And that number is a little outrageous. You can't expect him to pitch in 8 out of every 12 games moving forward. That is not realistic. That's a good way to wear down your bullpen. But maybe he is the 8th inning guy instead of Doval. I mean, Doval looked good in one of these games. He struggled for a few games there. He looked great in the beginning. But really, Tim Hill and Hedrick are the 2 most reliable relievers at this point. So we'll see if that changes their role or not. But it feels like they're still figuring that out. So what did we learn in this series? The offense is still the variable. It's not the pitching. It's not the talent. It's the offense. The same problems keep showing up in low-scoring games. And those are the games that matter most, because that's what the games are going to be like in October. You don't have a lot of blowouts when you're facing postseason caliber teams. So those are the games that you have to figure out a way to win. And then this team has not solved its biggest issue. It's avoided it at times, but there's a difference. We were able to avoid it in that last series with the Marlins because of how many errors they made, how many guys they put on base. Now, yeah, that's a credit to our hitters for having a good eye, taking pitches, working the counts. But we didn't get those big hits. And we didn't need them, necessarily, against the Marlins. But we needed them in this series, and they still didn't come for 2 out of the 3 games. So what are we watching for this upcoming series in Tampa? Number 1, will they adjust offensively? Not just score more. Obviously, we would love for them to score more. But will they adjust their approach and their execution? You don't have to have the home run. Have the single. Get guys over. Productive outs. And then get the hits or the sac flies, whatever it is. I mean, that's what won the A's game 2. A sac fly in the 9th inning. That's what we need to change. Will the offense adjust their approach? And then we'll see, number 2, can they win in tight, low-scoring games? Because again, that is the style of baseball that you will see in October. So if that's the case again here against Tampa, will we be able to find a way to win those games? And then, of course, is the lineup going to get clearer? Are we going to have more defined roles, defined expectations, and less guessing? Are we going to see McMahon all 3 games? Is Trent Grisham still going to be the leadoff hitter? Like, these are the things that they need to figure out. And if none of those things change, we're going to keep having the same conversation. So here's the truth. The Yankees didn't just lose a series, they showed us exactly where they still fall short. Because when the game slows down, when runs are hard to find, when execution matters the most, this team still doesn't have a reliable answer. And until they do, they're good, but they're not built for what matters most. That's the difference. And that's the standard. Not how you look when everything's working, but what you look like when it isn't. This is The Standard with Brian Leavy.